We're live. There it goes. Give me, guys. It did not want to cooperate this Friday morning. It said Halloween was yesterday. I ate too much candy and I am taking the day off. How are you today, Shelly? How was your Halloween?
I woke up with a candy hangover.
Oh no.
I can't eat candy like I used to. Oh my gosh. And I just like, you know how you're just like one little piece of candy and then like before you know at the end of the night you're like
Oh, why did I do that? Right.
100 pieces later. And you know
Right.
what? Like I'm a criminal. Like I did not go trick or treating. Every piece of candy last night I stole from a child.
Oh no.
It's like how can you sleep at night? I deserve to be sick, I
No,
guess.
grandparent tax is a real thing. Please. Yeah. We went trick or treating with all of my nieces and nephews, and I kid you not, there were at least, oh goodness, 8 kids
Uh,
going up to a house at the same time. I'm like, that is a terrifying fright right there. Like, if anything is Halloween, it's watching 10 kids walk up to the same exact house.
totally.
Yes. But I'm so glad that we're here. I'm so ready to listen to some calls and dive right
Yeah,
on in. So let's go ahead and start call number 1.
okay,
Here
awesome.
we go.
Thank you for calling. This is Aaron.
We can hear that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful.
How can I help?
Hi, Eric. My name is Roger. My address is. I accidentally last night I closed the garage and I did not know that the broom was right there and it pulled the wheels out or the wheels came off the track.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hanging and I'm afraid it's just gonna fall on somebody.
Okay, yeah. Let's see. All right, you said this is Mr. Gutierrez.
Yes.
All right. Let's see.
I think I might have used you guys before.
Yeah, it came up with a contact on here for you.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to pause it there. We are at the first 45 seconds of a call. Do you have any thoughts, comments, or concerns this far, Shelly?
Well, so first thought is call handler's nice, right? Like he's pleasant, he has, a good demeanor. So I love that about the call. But I'm waiting for him to like make that connection with the homeowner. I haven't heard that yet. He's not acknowledging, the fear that this homeowner has of this door falling on someone.
Right.
Honestly, like if he's worried about that, that's pretty serious. Like
Yeah.
he needs some reassurance right there. So that's what I'd like to hear.
Yeah, so we're listening for a little bit of reassurance. It sounds like the one thing that stood out to me is the customer had to ask an additional question, or not even that, but try to get the guy to start talking, right? So he was like, yeah, I believe we've done service with you. And the CSR says, oh, yeah, I've got a contact pulled up.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions here for that homeowner. It's like, who's really controlling this call right now?
Yes, who is controlling the call? I agree. Yeah, I too am listening for some reassurance, even just a little bit of restating back. That is a concern. That does sound dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Let's keep going. Let's see if we hear that reassurance come up.
That last time was in 2020.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm just looking at the schedule now for you.
Do you think we can get somebody here today? I know it's very short notice, but I'm just afraid it's going to fall.
Yeah, it would be under emergency rates because
Hey, how much would that be?
Back. Let me check.
Uh-oh. Well, let me check is never a good sign.
Yeah.
Never a good sign.
So for residential emergency,
don't forget the family friends discount.
No, right. So residential emergency service would be $395, and then if we come regular hours would be $145.
Oh wow! But the emergency service at $345, they'll put it back together for me after that.
Right. Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and pause this here. This guy just came out and spit out a bunch of numbers to him. It doesn't sound like they are going quite in the customer's favor. What could have been done differently, Shelly? Do you think he may not have had that, oh, wow, result?
Yeah. So I'm looking at this call and the customer's in good spirits. He's trying to joke with them, and he's definitely the one controlling the call.
Yeah.
100%. And he's asking the questions. The call handler is just responding to all of those. And so I really would love to see this call handler, take this call back and provide this homeowner with that leadership that they need right now. Definitely it's not time to talk about price. We don't have enough information. We don't know them well enough, right? And so just following that pattern, he's just jump into logistics. It's too soon.
Yeah. So we're showing that in this particular call, that care is everything. That connection is everything, right? He has now expressed twice that this feels like an emergency. This feels dangerous. So I agree. I would have loved to hear, even a couple of questions. Oh my gosh, you noticed that the broom was stuck underneath there. Now, is it just, where is it sitting? Right? If it seems dangerous, is it a couple inches? If it was a broom, was the broom standing up? Is it like 4 feet off of the ground right now? Like, how high up is this garage? Why is it such a dangerous situation in your eyes? Let's
Totally
get that
yeah.
going.
And I think too is like how important it is to acknowledge their urgency.
Absolutely.
Like even as the professional, and maybe you don't feel like it's an emergency, this homeowner does. And so we need to speak in that type of language that will let them feel at ease, knowing that we're the right company to take care of them. But if we're just kind of like bouncing around and not acknowledging that urgency, they can't necessarily trust us that we're going to be the ones to take care of this problem. And so now that we've heard them repeat this, we know he's worried about it falling and hurting someone. We could say things like, this sounds urgent, or I know you need to get someone out as soon as possible. We definitely want to make sure everyone in your home is safe and cared for. And the same thing goes with let's say if it's an HVAC call and the homeowner has no heat and they're feeling like that's an emergency, we could let them know, like, I know we want to get someone out as soon as possible, especially you guys sitting in a cold home. And what that does is it lets them like relinquish this fear and worry that they have, and trust that we're going to be able to take care of them.
Yeah, I agree. So if anyone new here is tuning in today, what Shelly and I are talking about are the first 5 principles of our pattern of excellence. How can we create an ultimate connection with our customer before we can go straight into transaction or unintentionally sounding transactional? So building a connection and likability and trust is everything here. This customer service representative was definitely positive. He definitely has a fantastic tone. But what I do agree, we would have loved to hear a little bit more care out of it, some more reassurance, some validation that this is a dangerous situation. Let the customer feel like we're advocating for what they're talking about.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and let's start with a new call here. Let's move on. Let's go to call number 2 and see if we hear any difference.
Calling, this is Grace. How can I help you?
Hi, I was calling because we had helped us with electrical project last year, and we're having some adjustments to that project. It's an outdoor room that's being moved. So we're looking to have Early Bird Electric help with the electrical portion of that move.
Of course. So we're wanting to move some electrical to a different room. Is that what we're doing?
It's a different location outside.
Okay, so we're moving the electrical to what location outside? Is it like outside the kind of patio? Is it like?
It's like a gazebo. The gazebo is moving back about 20 feet. So moving it's basically being disassembled and then reassembled.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to pause it here. We got a lot of clickety-clackities, but I'm also hearing a lot of great strengths from this CSR. I mean, starting off with her positivity. Her positivity was brilliant at the beginning. And this is exactly what I mean by finding out more. It's not just I'm moving rooms. I'm moving an entire electrical circuit elsewhere.
Right.
CSR is doing a fantastic job at repeating every single word that she is hearing to verify that she has the correct information. This is not a small job by any means. Is there anything else that stood out to you?
So, I am hearing all of that. I definitely agree with what you're saying. She's getting into that discovery portion like very quickly. She's really what we would call this is kind of like prioritizing the call, right? We're trying to get that information that we need to know how to move forward past this point when it comes to scheduling and things like that. So she's able to find out the urgency and like what the job scope is and things like that through her questions. What I would have loved to hear more from her is just make it a little more personal. Like right now, it does still seem like she's just firing these questions at her. And I love the idea of like using power words. Like, let's get, oh, fantastic, perfect, that's great, how fun, Is this a good move or a bad move? Are you guys excited for this change? Or, just trying to put something out so that we know how to celebrate this with them and show that care, because of course we don't just have to show care right when it's a bad thing. So expanding onto this back porch that they have, like let's celebrate that with them. And so what I would like to see is, in addition to these questions, this listening that she's using, just make it a little more personal, like try to connect with her and just use those power words to bring the energy up even more and
I love that you mentioned power words and that care doesn't always have to be negative. And I think that's one of the biggest things when we're coaching our CSRs is they're like, well, I showed care by booking them because it was a positive situation, right? And I'm like, well, let's celebrate it with them. It sounds like this is a big project. They just got a gazebo. And say less. If I had a nice place outside under a gazebo where I can hang out when it's raining, I don't know, Midwest, Shelly over here, I get a lot of thunderstorms, lightning storms. If I could have somewhere that I could just sit and chill and watch the lightning storm,
oh heck yeah,
absolutely,
yeah,
awesome.
I love that. I love it.
Yeah, celebrate. I love it. And I also heard a couple of gratitudes. So of course, the beginning we're showing gratitude, but one thing I'm really prying on my CSR is that gratitude doesn't just have to be at the end. Just like that positive and prepared that continues throughout the call. I mean, I know Nathan mentioned it a few episodes ago. What's the first thing that we say to a caller when we answer the phone?
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Even as she's going through and she's restating all this information and the customer is validating, yes, you have that correct. She's, again, showing gratitude. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
So I also want to point that out. I know it was just a little itty bitty thing there, but it shows that it continues throughout the call.
Love it.
Keep going here. Oh, the clacks.
Okay, so let's go ahead and put their information. Your first and last name
is Cassandra, Cassandra. Last name.
Okay. All right. And then do you happen to know the age of your home?
I think it had multiple buildings, but I think the first build was maybe 2008.
Okay. All right. And then do you happen to know the age of the electrical panel?
Between 2008 and 2012.
Okay, thank you. All right.
Okay, Shelly, you've been doing this for a long time. I really want to know what your thoughts are on this. One of the biggest things that come up, even in my coaching sessions, is I'm going to ask all of these wonderful probing applicable questions. I'm going to verify everything. I'm going to get their address, and then I'm going to almost backtrack a little bit and ask more questions. What are your thoughts on the questions that she's asking here? Was it a great location for it? Should it wait until later? Should it have been done earlier? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Well, I'm thinking it's okay. She does have her information up, so she has a place to put that information. She could probe a little deeper. But here's my thought on questions is, you're going to ask those initial questions at the beginning to help you just be that detective, right? To know how to navigate the call. Once you get their information up, now you're going to be asking more questions. But I love it when we can tell them, I'm writing all of this down. I want to make sure our technician is prepared to come out to your home. That way they are, they have what they need to make sure they get you taken care of. And so if you give them that explanation of why you're asking questions, and it's just part of leading, part of being the handler of the call, is we're guiding that customer through this whole process. So we could, especially with her typing away, we could say things like, I'm not playing Tetris, right? I mean, I'm writing all of this down. I
Right.
want to make sure I get it right. And so, Marissa, what do you think it's telling our customer when we tell them we are writing all of this down?
Oh, yeah.
Notes. Like, what are we saying to them?
That we care, that we want to make sure that the job is done efficiently, proactively. Absolutely. And I love that you mentioned the little bit of just narration there, that, I'm getting all of this down. I want to ask a couple more ones to just verify that our technicians are overall set up for success, right? Over the clickies.
Right.
That
And,
is
I think that it just lets them know, first and foremost, that what they have to say matters.
Yes.
Like, this matters enough to me that I'm going to take the time and write this down. It's not just shooting the breeze. Like, you matter to me, your project matters to me, and I'm going to write this down.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. I like that. Very cool. All right. We've got about a minute and a half left of this call. Love to hear how it finishes. Let's go.
Oh, sure. And then when were you wanting to get that scheduled, ma'am?
I think just having someone eyeball the project, because they haven't done the reassembly yet, but just sort of eyeball the project and get it in their vision. Does next Tuesday morning work for anyone?
Yeah, of course. Let me go ahead and just pull that up really quick. Pull up that schedule so we can look at that together. So
there we go. That's kind of the narration I'm thinking. You can hear the clickety clacks, but she's also schedule pulled up, and we can absolutely, let's get the schedule pulled up and we can look at it together. That's the kind of narration I'm looking for. Love it.
Right. So let's see here. So next Tuesday we can do an 8 to 10:30, 1 or a 1 to 3:30 arrival.
The 8 to 10:30 would work great.
All right, perfect. And then what you're going to expect when our electrician comes out there, they're going to evaluate exactly what your need is, and then provide you an estimate to get that moved. And then they do come in a fully stocked truck, so they'll be able to help you out all in the same day. For that, it is $89, and then that is completely waived once you go ahead with repairs. And then the best number to call you, Cassandra, is
Yes.
Perfect. All right, I'll go ahead and get that scheduled, and I'll send you an email text confirmation of your appointment as well, okay?
All right, sounds good. Thanks for your help.
My pleasure. Have a wonderful day.
You too. Bye.
All right. So there are the last 3 of our principals here. How are you feeling with those, Shelly?
So I don't know if you could understand it very well on your end. It was a little like muffled for me. I could hear that build value, so that was awesome. She talked about how they could get it done same day, comes in well-stocked truck, and all of that information. With that ending of the call, I don't know if I heard a thank you from her. I think she said, my pleasure. I would love to have heard that thank you back to the customer. So that would be just punctuate that call at the end, using her name and thanking her.
Yeah, I think I agree with you there. Value is beautiful. I also really enjoyed the ask principle that she did. I wish there was one part that I wish she would have ended in a question, but I already forgot what it was, so it may not have been too important.
Yeah.
But I do agree, the branding of the call. So there was a statistic that actually one of my CSRs brought to me. He used to work for AT&T, and there was a statistic when he worked there that the last 15 seconds of a call is just as powerful as the first 7 seconds of the call. And ultimately, the last 15 seconds can change the entire outcome of that after call survey. And I thought that was very valuable and interesting thinking about it. Because, yeah, if you walk into a grocery store, you walk in, you go get your groceries, you check out, the one thing you remember most is the final interaction you had.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, of course, the person at the front door saying good morning to me or welcome is great. And I love that. It sets my tone for my shopping trip, but it's that interaction at the end that I remember the most.
Yeah, I agree.
That's
Yeah.
that branding, like you said, mentioning their name again, our name again, who they called. They're
Yeah.
going to remember that the most in the last 15 seconds.
I think about, when you get on a phone call with someone, you really start as strangers, right? You don't know that person. You're just starting this off. And so I think about you like kind of begin like as strangers, but we want to end as friends.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing here is we're trying to make this connection. And so at the end, it needs to be personal.
Right.
And I love what you're saying. Like that just even confirms more how I felt about that ending as friends, because it really is just that's the part you think of. And like how many times I don't know if you've done this, but I've done it so many times where I hang up the phone and I'm like, oh, they were so nice. Like I'm like still thinking about them. I've hung up the phone. I'm like, wow, she was so nice.
Yeah.
One time I was driving in the car and I was the customer and I was talking to, a customer service agent, and it was on speakerphone and all my kids are in the car. And one of my kids is Tatiana. So she's sitting in the passenger seat. She was in high school at the time. So she's not even, not even with Power Slaying Pros yet, right? And this was back when I was a brand new coach and she's in the front seat. The kids are in the back. And this agent was so like, boo, right? Just horrible.
Oh, no.
The phone. And I just remember like, it wasn't like that. It was boop, it was in my car. But as soon as we hung up the phone, all the kids are like, oh, Mom, what would you say? It just stood out to them so much about how bad that, after the call was over, they were still thinking about like, what would you do? So it matters.
That's crazy. I love that.
Mom.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh. I can only imagine if Tatiana, at the stage that she is today, what she would say. What you on
I know exactly what I would tell them. Call them back.
If you're watching this and you remember that situation, I need to know what you said to him.
Mom. Like it was an atrocity of the universe. It was just like the worst thing ever.
Oh no, that's horrible. Okay, we've got 2 more calls. Let's go with this one.
Thank you for calling. This is Courtney. How may I help you?
It's weird. I feel like we got short calls today, Shelly. Did you notice that? I feel like some weeks we've got super long calls and other times we got super short calls. And I'm like,
well, we made it through one call last week.
Oh no. It happens though. It happens. Oh.
Chatty about the calls. Nathan, get the 2 of us together. We're just dissecting that thing.
Dissecting it to the core. All right.
Science lab.
There you go.
Hi, Courtney. Before I tell you about kind of what I got going on, I just want to double check. Do y'all go after commerce?
Yes, we do.
Okay, great. So, my brother was out there. I'm actually busy. I'm from commerce originally, but my brother's out there in his house. The toilet has continued to back up, or not even back up, but just stop up. We've had it snaked a few times, and it'll just clog right back up. We had someone out yesterday, and they essentially said that the sewage line needs to be replaced, and it would be between $27,000 and $31,000 to do that job.
Wow.
So I wanted to get obviously a second opinion on what's going on, and then if the sewage line does need to be rebuilt, what that actually would cost.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'd be happy to help with that. So it would be for your mom's property.
I own the property, but my brother lives there.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. So do you know if he would be available tomorrow for us to stop by?
Okay, I'm going to pause it here. We are 1 minute and 11 seconds into the call. Any strengths or opportunities that you're picking?
So, yes. First one, and again, it's not super clear for me. Hopefully it's just me and everyone else can hear it perfect. But right at the beginning, the customer asked a question and she answers it, and then it's like ... and then he starts talking.
Yes.
So I love that opportunity to just take that control of the call. He was like, I have one question. Do you service this area? Yes, we do. What's going on out there? How can we help? So let's just take that call right away. That was the first thing that stood out to me. How about you?
Yeah, I agree. That was the one thing. Her positivity is great. And I don't know if she almost sounded hesitant when she said yes a little bit. She said, yes. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing?
Right,
But
right,
at
yeah.
the same time, I do agree. Following up with that question of, we absolutely do. How can I help you? The just expression of care when he said it's going to be $21,000, she said, whoa.
Right.
Just a simple, quick expression of care. She's relating to what he felt in the situation, and I can't blame him. $21,000.
I'm like, oh,
Yeah, I think with both of us, like we both
Yeah.
have expressions on our faces.
yeah.
And I also loved her reassurance of, this is definitely something that we can take care of for you, or we can, I can't remember exactly how she worded it, but there was a great reassurance statement in there. I wish we would have restated a little bit of it. Where a minute into the call and he gave a lot of information. I don't even know that I have retained all of it quite yet. So just restating back that whole scenario. Okay, so what I'm hearing is that the toilet, it doesn't sound like it's backing up, it's just stopping up. So it's not quite overflowing, but it's right there. Just going into more probing applicable questions and just restating all of the overload of information he's just provided us. Let's make sure that we thoroughly understand before being understood.
Yep, love it.
So we are going directly into appointment here. She is asking a close-ended question of, would you be available tomorrow? I would love to hear a little more open of what his availability is, but at the same time, we still have a great opportunity for value to come and gratitude. So I'd love to hear if we hear either one of those, or if they have a second opinion, or what the deal is here. So let's go a little longer. Anything you want to add before I hit play?
So I'm thinking, if we did want to like zoom in a little bit more on this call, we could have said a little more other than just the whoa on that expensive, so she said it's definitely like, let's get that other appraisal, estimate for you, but I think that one of my favorite, like, and I've been doing this a long time, and I'm telling you, this just came to my mind after working with other CSRs, which is so awesome because I learned so much from him. I swear I learned more from them.
I love it.
As much too or more than they learned from me.
Yes.
But one company that says when they call in, like, I'm sure this is the last thing you want to deal with today. And, and just, I'm sure this is the last thing you want to do is gather all of these estimates for this huge project, but you called the right place. We're going to get you taken care of. You're going to be in great hands, just really providing that strong reassurance, like get in there with them, right? Like get in it with them. Cause this is a huge project and we also want to win this.
Sure. I can relate to that. Yeah.
Right? Absolutely. Like this is a big job. So we want to win this job. And so in my mind, if I'm that call handler, this call now is at the top of the list. Like I am prioritizing this call. I can tell that this is a big job. And so we're going to make room for this call. We're going to make room. And that's probably why she offered the very next day. She wants to get someone out right away. There is a way that you could save it. If you do come in and be like, I can get someone out tomorrow. And they're like, sure. And then you can open it up. Like, do morning or afternoons work better for you?
Sure.
So I think like as a call handler, sometimes if we say it wrong the first time, we can still fix it.
Yes, that's a very good point. A lot of people don't think about that. We may say things wrong the first time, but there is ways to save it. And it's
next time you open your mouth, right?
Absolutely. It's a very intentional process is what it comes down to. And it takes a lot of practice, but we get there. And I love that you said you learn all this from your CSRs. And I agree. I mean, we go through boot camp to do what we do today. And we continue that boot camp, over the course of our employment, right? But again, we learn so much from our CSRs. And I think that's incredible.
Totally.
I love it. We've got 2 minutes left in the show. We've got about 2 minutes left in this call. I'd love to hear if they have that beautiful value statement. Let's give it a listen.
Yeah, certainly.
Okay, so I can have them out tomorrow. Just take a look, and then he would provide you with a quote. He does come out with a well-stocked fan. I don't know if we'd be able to do any repair right then if it has needs the whole line to be replaced. But it's a $98 service charge for when he comes out. However, when you have them do the work, we do credit the $98 towards it.
Okay, great.
Awesome. And then may I have your first and last name?
And zip code is
Okay, thank you for that. And I have your phone number here as
at Gmail.
I'm just kind of skipping through here so we can complete it.
all right. And where is the location? What is that address?
Eric. And then his last name is like. It's honestly easiest just the number at the house. I just
Awesome. Okay, let me give you a good updated time. So I can have them there tomorrow between 12 and 4. If you think that would work, we'll go ahead and get you all down for that.
perfect.
Awesome. All right. And we do send a text message when our guys head your way, so you'll know who to look for and actually know who's coming out, not just a stranger showing up. Is there anything else that we might be able to help you with today?
No, that's it.
All right. Well, awesome. Well, I appreciate you giving us a call today, Jacob. Y'all have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Bye.
All right. I'm not mad at that ending. Not mad at that. She used his name again and said, had a wonderful afternoon. Can't be too upset with that.
I'd appreciate. So that's
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah.
I do wish there would have been a little bit more to that value. That value is so strong, especially with a ginormous job like this.
Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest only point I really heard was that they're going to come in a stock truck, but then followed it up with a little, I don't know if they're going to be able to fix it same day.
Yeah.
Oh, girl, you had me. You had me. I would have loved to hear just a little bit more of, they do come in a fully stocked truck. They're going to evaluate this situation from top to bottom. They're going to give you that down to the penny pricing of how much it's going to be. And we'll be able to figure out at that point what direction we need to take for the work.
I like it.
So just giving them a full idea of what to expect. Just that little, I don't know. Well, it goes a long way.
That's funny. I wrote that down too. I was like, oh,
I know. Like, you were so close. Overall, I loved her positivity throughout the call. She had a great pace and tone. She has a great phone voice. So I liked this call. There are definitely some awesome opportunities within it. But at the same time, 7 out of 10.
we booked the call, right? And
Yeah.
Love it. So I caught the I don't know either. Okay, also like let's get that question in there at the end of that build value. There was just a little bit of like that kind of lull there because she wasn't quite like using that question to lead them to the next portion of the call. And I wrote on here, yikes, like right here after build value, she gets his name. And I was like, oh, let's get the name sooner. Like
Get his name a little sooner. I was kind of skipping through linguistics to try to get through it, but she did get his name sooner.
Okay, that's good because it sounded like she was verifying his name after.
I think that was the brother's name of who was going to be paying the bill.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. That's good because I was like, no.
Awesome. Well, I think we almost made it through all the calls today. We made it through 3 calls. I think our biggest takeaway was probably the care statement. Just show that care, whether it's a negative or a positive, no matter what it is. Let's connect and validate what our customers are feeling. And let's just build a stronger relationship.
Yeah, love it.
Awesome.
I like it. High five.
Yeah. Well, thanks for hanging out with me today, Shelly. It was such a pleasure to have you on the show with me, and I can't wait to do it next time. But thank you guys for tuning in today, and make sure that you catch us next Friday at noon Central, 11 Mountain Time for the next This Call May Be Recorded. And as always, thanks for tuning in, and thanks for following Power Selling Pros. Bye, guys.